Welcome back, YouTube, to another episode here at WILDMAN Lifts. I'm your host, WILDMAN. Now on tonight's episode, tonight, I'm going to be continuing the Train Like a Strongman series, and I'm going to be doing the bench press. Now, do strongmen actually do the bench press? And the answer is yes. Now, are they tested on it in competition? Very rarely, no. And if they are going to be tested, it's going to be something along the lines like a log where they're flat on their back and they have to start from a dead press and move up in such a manner. So it's very rare that you actually see strongmen actually have a dedicated bench press day. It's usually an accessory movement to their overhead pressing because they want to focus on the overhead press a whole lot more than they want to actually do on a flat bench press. Now, in my opinion, just from me watching a bunch of strongmen on YouTube, the best strongman in the world that have won multiple titles actually dedicate a bench press day. And the reason why, according to their science and logic, is the bench press overloads the triceps. It's a max amount of weight they could put on the triceps, which is very important when you're doing the log or when you're doing an axle overhead press. You need to have very strong triceps. So that's their reasoning. And since they want to perform the best on the bench press in order to overload those triceps, that's why they dedicate a day to it. And you can see that I'm back with this curved bar. It's a different one that I have. And I really like it because it wobbles a lot and it gives you a 3-inch deficit before it touches your chest, which gives you a lot more range of motion. So let's pop into today's workout. I'm going to show you how this goes. Now for this evening's strength giant set, I'm going to be using that curved bar, which is actually called a buffalo bar that was made by Titan, but was discontinued because they made a lot more better bars in their near future. And basically, I'm going to bench press with it. It's going to wobble a lot because of its curved nature. It's also going to give me a 3-inch deficit before it touches my chest. So this is something that's going to really channel those chest stabilizers and really work them out a whole lot extra than a normal barbell. And as I'm going up in weight on the buffalo bar, I'm also going to be doing the polyp press, which is something I love to do because it really gets my obliques warmed up as I'm going up in weight. That's important to balance that barbell as it gets heavier and heavier. And I'm also going to do some jump ropes. Jump ropes not only are a great conditioning and timing tool, but also warms up my rotator cuffs, which I'm going to need desperately for the bench press. That's going to be the strength giant set for this evening. Now, the main reason why I'm doing this particular lift tonight is because I've actually been training with this curved bar on the bench press now, because the last time I went to go hit it, I wasn't very happy with myself of where I was on the strength side. So on my last bench pressing video, I did 6 reps max at 275 pounds on this implement. So for today, I'm aiming to go up to that 300-pound mark, and I hopefully want to hit 3. If I can hit 3, that will be a lifetime PR because I've never done that on the buffalo bar before because it just wiggles too much and that extra range of motion like I just said. Now, if you're training for a strongman event, this is a great implement to do because it really teaches you how to be patient with your technique. You can't just dive bomb it on your chest and try to get under it quickly and explode up like you can on a barbell. If you were to try to do that on this barbell, it would just wiggle too much and you would lose control of it. So just like with the back squat, like I was doing on my last video, this is something that makes me have to concentrate. So I almost have to do like a paused bench press because I have to make sure that I'm perfectly stable at the bottom before I can explode. Because if I try to explode too early from the bottom and be too quick, it's going to wobble and get out of control. And paused bench press, really good for strongman because when you're going to overhead press something, it's usually at a dead stop at the front rack position on your shoulders and on your neck. And you have to learn how to get stable and be comfortable with that weight sitting on you in order to get a really good position and then to try to shoot it up overhead. So this is an extra timing tool that you can use. And not only that, you can use the buffalo bar for the back squat, which is a tested implement now in strongman. And you can use it for yoke carries as well. So this is a really good tool to have. And it carries over even better into the barbell. If you go back to a barbell and you're lifting with that barbell, you're going to find that it's so much easier to lift because you're taking away that range of motion now because this is a 3-inch deficit and it doesn't wiggle. It's much more stable. And overloading those triceps by doing a bench press, even without this kind of bar you could do with the barbell, it really gets those triceps strong, which you absolutely need if you want to get that bar or some kind of weird implement over your head on the overhead press in any strongman event. All right, so mission accomplished. And you can see this curved bar, very similar to the bar that I used yesterday for back squats, which is often tested in strongman competitions. That's an actual event that they use that implement in. So with this one, if you happen to purchase a curved bar for strongman and you're going to try to compete with it then at least you know you can get more use out of it. You can then bench press with it, which really taxes your chest a whole lot more because you have to stabilize it a whole lot more, and you get more range of motion due to its curved nature. So your chest is going to be absolutely built and strong, and it's also going to make those triceps have to work a lot harder on the stabilization, which is perfect for the overhead press. Now I'm going to go ahead and continue to use this bar, and I'm going to show you some more exercises that we could do with it. So let's pop into that right now. Now for the variation giant set, I was doing 3 rounds, and now I'm doing an incline barbell press with that buffalo bar. So now I'm getting even more deficit and even more range of motion now due to its curved nature. And I'll tell you right now, it was a lot more wobbly this time than it was on the flat bench press. I feel like on the flat bench press, I can get in a lot better position, and it's not as wiggly as it is in the incline position. So my chest is really blowing up right now. But the reason why it's important to note the incline bench press, this is what a lot of strongmen do. They do a lot of incline bench pressing. Reason being is it carries over a lot into the overhead press. So again, you could really hit those muscles for a log to get overhead if you're doing the incline bench press. And again, it overloads those triceps. So this is something that you actually see strongmen do train on a lot. They might do a log or some type of overhead press for their strength portion. And then for their accessory variation lift, they might switch over to the incline bench press and really hammer out those reps. If you don't want to worry about the bench press and you want to focus more on strongman movements and what's going to get you there, definitely do the incline bench press. That is something that you could do on a day all by itself or as a variation lift after you're done with your strength portion on the overhead press. But this is something that strongmen train with a lot, and you actually might see this in events, especially when it comes to like the log. There has been incline bench pressing with a log before in trained events. Oh man, I am so excited. So not only on the flat bench press with the Buffalo curved bar did I hit a PR for 3 reps at 300 pounds. Never done that before. Always escaped me when I tried to go for that 3rd rep. But I've never done the Buffalo bench press incline. Well, I have for reps, but never for 275. So just 1 rep would have been a PR for me because I've never done that before. But 2 reps, even more exciting. Probably could have gone for that 3rd, but I was just excited that I hit that 2nd rep, and I didn't want to like risk injury or burn myself out for what's later to come. So if you're a strongman, you're training for a strongman competition, this would have been enough, right? Perfect amount of volume where you could easily call it quits, especially if you're doing it in giant set format and getting all that extra work in there. But if your conditioning is a little bit more peak, then there's some more exercises we're going to do. So let's pop into that right now. Now for the assistance giant set, like I said, when you're a strongman, you really want to hit those triceps. Triceps are the reason why you will fail a lift when it comes to the overhead press. So I'm doing a skull crusher. Not that I typically do skull crushers, but because I wanted to show you guys a really fast way to get your triceps jacked and strong, skull crushers are a good thing to do. And I'm using that buffalo bar because, again, I want to show you that this is a wise purchase. If you get a buffalo bar, it wiggles a lot. So it really makes your triceps have to work 10 times harder. And I'm also doing some hand release push-ups. Now I'm doing this to actually get better at the bench press because it's the same mimicking motion as the bench press. I get down to the bottom and I put my hands up, which releases the tension. So it's kind of the same mimicking motion that you're doing on the bench press, which is a great way to pump blood into the chest after you've done a lot of bench pressing. And some straight arm pull downs. This movement actually mimics the same pattern as getting the barbell out of the rack on a bench press. It also helps with the deadlift because it teaches you to keep the bar close to your shins and that same mimicking motion, and it works your back. Now for the accessory giant set, I was doing 3 rounds, and I'm doing a tricep push-up because when you bring your hands closer together like this, you're hitting the chest, but you're hitting the triceps a whole lot more, which again, as a strong man, you got to hammer those triceps. And some pec flies with the band. It's really not about the weight or the tension. It's about just pumping blood into the chest after you're done with all that pressing motion. So this is one of the movements I like to do, especially after a very big bench pressing session. And face pulls, because if you're a strong man, you got to do face pulls because your shoulders are going to take a beating. And this is what keeps them strong and healthy for longevity. Alrighty, so that's going to conclude it for this evening's workout. And if you haven't noticed, it's actually starting to rain a whole lot. So it's time to get inside. And good thing my workout was underneath this awning. Otherwise, I would have been drenched out here. Really appreciate you stopping by, and I hope that you all learned something new and how to train like a strongman. I'll see you next time. Thank you.